What's up, fellas?
Welcome, J.P. Peterson, the longtime guru of Tampa sports.
We love having first-timers, so first of all, welcome. I was thinking both the Eagles and the Buccaneers are 3-0, but it certainly hasn't been easy for either team. One-score games every week for these guys. The Bucs winning by a total of 6 points those 3 games. That would be a lot of stress for Bucs fans, I'm thinking.
Yeah, you kidding me? We wouldn't have it any other way. Nothing but drama, right? We don't need any boring game. This game against the Jets was 23-6, a few minutes left, and the official said, "You know what? Let's just go ahead and give them a touchdown that clearly is not a touchdown, and we'll extend the game a little bit." Oh, you idiots that bet the under. You're screwed. You're screwed. So it's going over. And so then we end up with a block kick, and you guys would know what the block kicks are all about this week.
Oh, yeah.
But we end up actually winning the game. You guys absolutely did too on that block kick. So
yep.
What a wild weekend in the NFL. And yeah, I think, look, the Bucs, we were talking about this today. The teams they beat are combined 1-8, and they have, as you mentioned, a 6-point differential. So you can look at this in a lot of different ways. But this is not the Bucs team that we had hoped to have for the actual regular season. No Tristan Wirfs, no Godwin. The entire offensive line shuffled last week. Nobody was in their regular position. It's almost impossible to win games in the NFL under those situations. So if you can find a way to go 3-0 with this many injuries, especially along the offensive line, you're doing something in the NFL. So, and especially with a first-year play caller, I asked Todd Bowles about that. I'm like, how about Josh Grizzard and what he's been able to do coaching around all these injuries, which is really difficult to do. And they've had to revamp their entire run offense. And they've been able to do it and do it enough to win. So I kind of look at it differently. It's a 3-0 by close margins for the Buccaneers. But with the situation that they've been handed, 2 tough road games to start the season, offensive lines on the road that are completely new, a new center, very difficult to win. So, kudos to the Buccaneers. Kudos to Baker Mayfield, who's just the absolute magic man. And the Bucs sit 3-0, and it's a pretty cool. This is the only game this week with 2 undefeated teams. So let's go.
Well, JP, you have been hearing it all off season and the beginning of this season, just as Philly is with Jalen Hurts. Total lack of respect for 2 quarterbacks that are just ballers.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I mean, how can you not put Jalen Hurts in the top tier? I mean, I won't even talk about Baker, but how is he not in the top tier? Because Lamar Jackson, has he won a Super Bowl? Nah. Joe Burrow? Nah. Josh Allen? Nah. Now, I'm not saying that Hurts is better than Josh Allen, all right?
Right.
But you got to look at a player, the way they play the game in Philly. That offense is just tailor-made for him, and that's smart. And they built that offense around him and his unique abilities. And by the way, he's become one hell of a thrower of the football. I don't see how you don't put Jalen Hurts in the top tier of quarterbacks. Now, Baker Mayfield, listen, Baker is completely underrated just in terms of his athletic ability. I mean, he is. We were talking to Bucky Irving today, and I'm like, Bucky, did you see that move that Baker put on that guy? And he's like, man, I'd be proud of that one. People underrate his elusiveness because he's a small white guy, right? But he's got some shake. It's why you don't say shake and bake for nothing. He's got some shake to him. And I think, honestly, because I see this all the time, like defenders will come up on him just like, I'm gonna crush Baker Mayfield. And I think if you're coming to tackle Lamar Jackson, like you break down, you got to go either way, right? You're like you got to be under control. You just can't fire. Well, against Baker, they think, oh, I don't have to worry about breaking down or having to go right or left. I'm just going to crush him. And he's got that little shake to him, and he leaves you in the dust. We've seen it too many times. So he's a very underrated runner. His arm, Baker's arm, is as good as any in the NFL. He can, with velocity, and they actually measured this at the combine. They measure with miles per hour, and Baker's always in the 99th percentile. He has a freaking cannon. He has great accuracy, and it's as far as this year goes, and the last few years, is anybody better in the clutch than Baker Mayfield? in the last 2 minutes. I mean, he's the first quarterback in the history of the league to be down, to go have a go-ahead score in the final minute of the game in the first 3 weeks. No one's ever done that. Have 3 comebacks in the final minute in the first 3 weeks. So, I mean, listen, I don't know how many we got in the top tier, but I got to put both these guys in the top tier, and they are disrespected. There's no question about it.
Yeah, he has been great for sure. Hey, Bill and I were talking about the fact that Tampa Bay is a bit banged up, a lot of injuries, especially on the offensive line and at wide receiver too. So what is the status of the O-line guys and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin?
All right. Well, I was there at the facility today, so I can give you the latest and greatest right from the mouth of Todd Bowles and Baker, because I asked them both about Chris Godwin, and both of them said Godwin is good to go. I mean, he's making his cuts, he's running his routes. He looks, to their words, he looks great. Now, is he going to have swelling after today's practice? Who knows? But at this point, it looks like Godwin's ready to go. Mike Evans is out probably for 2 or 3 weeks with the hamstring, the chronic hamstring issues he's had. So he's not going to play. Now, Tristan Wirfs, it sounded like they're pretty confident that he's going to play. I'd still say he's kind of questionable. Baker I don't know if he let this slip or he was talking about the future, but he said it'll be nice to get Graham Barton back to center and Bredesen to guard and Wirfs to tackle that left side to be all intact. Now, I don't know if he was speaking about the future or this week, but I think he might have been talking about this week. So the left side might be intact in the center, and then they'll have Charlie Heck at right tackle, and then either Haggard at right guard. So there'll be 2 new guys, backups on the right side. But going up against Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, you need your absolute best, and we'll see. I think that's going to be a huge part of the game right there. Can the Bucs run the football with a couple backup offensive linemen against that front? That's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, well. We pick every week. We pick games, and we already did this while we were waiting on you. We both had circled Tampa Bay to win this game back before the season started. The Eagles don't play well in Tampa. They especially don't play well in September when it's 100 degrees in Tampa. We're hoping the injuries offset that just a little bit. But how do you see this game? Do you feel like as you threw out the record that the Bucs have against their opponents so far, how do you like this game?
I think if the Bucs were healthy, I would take the Bucs, but I think there's just too many injuries. The Buccaneers offense really goes through Mike Evans. It starts with him, and because they have to double him, which leaves the other guys open, sets up the passing game, which sets up the running game. So it kind of starts and ends with Mike as that difference maker. He's hard to cover. He's very difficult, either in the intermediate or even the deep routes. At any level, he's really difficult. So without him, if Godwin comes back, then they got Godwin, Shepard, and Ibuka, which is a nice trio, really nice trio. So they'll have weapons. And if Wirfs is back, they won't need the tight end to chip as much as he has been chipping. So it opens up a few more things for him offensively. But I just think that Philly front is just too much because what they're going to do is they're going to overload the right side of the Buccaneers right side with the 2 backup guys, with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and their edge rushers coming off the edge. They're going to overload that, and I think it's going to be tough for Baker to throw the football. It's going to be tough for them to run the football. So I just think Philly may have the edge in this one, especially the way they've been scoring points. And last year, no A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So this year they'll have both of those, even though the Bucs defensive backs, I think, are playing great football. I think it'll be close, but if I had to bet this game, and I'm not going to bet this game because of all the injuries, I would favor the Eagles. But I understand Lane Johnson has a neck injury, right?
Yeah, but I think he's good to go.
Is he going to be? Yeah, okay. If he plays, then yeah, definitely, I would favor the Eagles in this one.
Hey, JP, 4 straight NFC South Division championships for the Bucs. The last 3 of those under Todd Bowles, who played college ball at Temple and was on the Eagles coaching staff for a bit. I got to think he's pretty well thought of down there in Tampa.
Kind of.
Kind of.
on the weeks they win.
On the weeks they win. Listen, it's interesting. I'd say the fan base is kind of split on Todd Bowles, and we're warming up to him because the NFC championships are good, but we have to keep that in perspective. He's 20 coming into the year. I believe he was 2 or 3 games over 500 as a coach. Last year losing in the first round of the playoffs was unacceptable, and most people would say they underachieved. And he got out coached in that game. They got out managed in that game. Terrible clock management by the Buccaneers. They allowed the Commanders to bleed the last 4.5 minutes of the game and kick a field goal to win. They allowed them to control the ball the entire game. And that's been kind of the beef with Todd is he doesn't manage games well. He was 2-6 last year in 7-point or below games. And if you're going to be an elite team, you got to be better in closer games. And that's always kind of been an issue for him in his head coaching career. So, we love Todd. He gets the best out of his players. They love playing for him, but he's always kind of, and he kind of did this against the Jets with the big lead, kind of pulled back, stopped blitzing, went into that soft cover 2, cover 3, and the Jets came back. And it's kind of, that's the way he manages games sometimes, and it can get you in trouble. So we love him as a human. We love him. He's the greatest guy ever, milk and cookies, the whole 9. And I love the fact that he's really come out of his shell a little bit this year to the public. He's much more, even last year and then definitely this year, much more comfortable with himself in public. We're seeing a much more lighter side of him, and that's endearing him to the fans. And the other part of it is, he hired a game manager this year. They went out, and whether he decided to or the organization, they have a game manager, and he's done some things this year that I don't think he would ever do. And I don't know if that's him making the calls or the game manager. I mean, the Bucs let the Texans score with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. Okay. And all their timeouts. I mean, that is a bold move to allow.
They didn't admit that though, did they? They still haven't admitted that.
They tacitly admitted it. Like I asked Bowles about it, and he said basically, what does it matter? We won the game. And I said, you're not going to tell us, are you? He said, not at all. And then I asked Antoine Winfield Jr., I said, did you really go after Chubb there? And he's like, great play, great run. I'm like, no, seriously. He's like, and he's laughing the whole time. Great play, great run.
But that's why they won the game. That decision is why they won the game.
Because you give Baker Mayfield last at-bats, he's going to beat you. He's going to beat you. So they're managing games differently now. And now what? Look, they're 3-0 in 7-point games. Last year they were 2-6. That's the difference. So do we love Todd Bowles? We love him when he's winning, and we like the new Todd Bowles. That's good. The riverboat gambler, Todd Bowles.
Well, and to tag on to that, a lot of people in Philadelphia don't love Nick Sirianni. All he did was win a Super Bowl, and he's undefeated this year. They still don't like him.
Fans are fickle, and so are us critics, right? We want perfection, and we want, I think the Bucs have underachieved at times under Todd Bowles, but they've been consistently good, and that's hard to do in the NFL. Really hard to do. I've never been more impressed with his coaching than this year. I mean, this year I think this has been his best coaching job with the injuries, the late game management. I think he's doing a great job. So maybe this is the year. For an older coach to kind of be agreeable to things like this, I think it speaks volumes for his lack of ego. And it's not about him. It's never about him. It's all about the team. So yeah, nobody's rooting for him more than me. I love the guy, but I've been very critical of him on my shows, and I think rightfully so. But we all want to see him succeed.
Hey, JP, I saw some pics of you on social media in FSU T-shirts. I know you're an alum. The Seminoles are 3-0. They're ranked number 8 currently. They got Virginia this week, then a big game against Miami. Are they legit contenders?
I'd like to say yes. I went to the Alabama game, and we whooped their ass. Physically, I mean, it was dramatic. But and then scored 77, 66, and we drop in the polls. But people hate us. They just hate us. They hate us because they hate us. So listen, the answer is I don't know yet, because after 2-10, you leaves a lot of scars from last year. I mean, that was ugly. So you don't want to jump out there and say, we're back. But it sure looks like it. I mean, Gus Malzahn has this team humming. They had 8 rushing touchdowns last week, which equaled their entire total for last year. I mean, this is dramatic. So if Castellanos is healthy, and I think he is this week, they got Virginia on Friday night. Virginia's the 4th highest scoring team. We're number 1 in the nation. So take the over on Friday night, and we'll see. And then we got Miami the next week.
Yeah.
I'll be there for that. So I'd like to say yes. I mean, I think they're a really good football team. I think they're right now. I'd say their floor is probably 8 wins, and the ceiling, I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, who can't they beat? They beat Alabama, who's supposed to be the best in the SEC, and Alabama looks like a good football team. So I'd like to give you a great answer. I think they're really good. I just don't know how good.
JP, a lot of our viewers, listeners come to, I'm shifting gears on you here, come to Florida, come to the Clearwater area to see the Phillies during spring training and so forth. What's it look like for the Tampa Bay Rays and their stadium? There's talk of moving, new ownership, all kinds of stuff. What's the latest?
Well, we broke the story on the new ownership group back in February, and I've been privy to a lot of information with this new ownership group. And I can tell you, they were handpicked by Major League Baseball because they can get a stadium done in Tampa. And Major League Baseball does not want another stadium in St. Petersburg on the edge of the market. It just doesn't work. It's a location nightmare. St. Pete's a beautiful downtown. It's an awesome place. It's got great beaches, amazing downtown. Clearwater, fantastic. Not a place for a baseball stadium for 81 games a year. It's just not. It doesn't work. So it's going to be in Tampa, and I believe that they have the money, the connections. The new owner is great personal friends with Ron DeSantis, our governor. He is pledged to help out in terms of infrastructure money. They've got great connections with the county commission and city commission. So I think they're going to get this done in Tampa. The problem has always been our old owner, Stu Sternberg. It's not with Hillsborough. It's not with St. Pete. It's not that we don't have the money. It's not that we can't do it. We had an owner that didn't want to pay anything for a stadium, and that's not going to work in this day and age. Nobody's going to write you a blank check. Actually, St. Pete tried to write him a blank check, and he still couldn't get the job done. So that's been the problem. He's gone. Major League Baseball took him out because they realized that he's been doing them dirty for years. So he's out. The new group coming in is made up of all-stars from the Tampa Bay area. They love the community. They know the community. The managing partner, Zalupski, has a lot of connections. He lives in Jacksonville, but he has a lot of connections in the Tampa Bay area. Fred Ridley is one of the owners, the chairman of the Augusta National, of the Masters. He's lived here all his life. He's a big part of it. Dan Doyle, who owns Dex Imaging here locally, another big local company. So these people love Tampa Bay. They have the money to build the stadium. They have the money to get the payroll up to the average. So the bottom line is, we've done everything wrong here in terms of baseball in St. Petersburg, in the Tampa Bay area. We've had 2 horrible owners. We've had a terrible, outdated, awful stadium in a terrible location. And that's the reason that we haven't succeeded in attendance. The team has been great on the field, 3rd most victories since 2008 behind the Dodgers and Yankees, but no championships, and an owner that just did not love the community, screwed everybody over, screwed his partners over, screwed Tampa Bay, threw Tampa over. I mean, dude's been a nightmare away from the field. So it's a bright day for Tampa Bay in terms of this new ownership group and the great things coming ahead. You'll see probably a stadium open in Tampa in 2029, maybe more likely 2030, and probably in the downtown area.
Hey, JP, for some unknown reason, my brother-in-law, who's in Eastern Pennsylvania, is a Tampa Bay Bucs fan. So he may be interested. He may be interested in your show. Before we wrap up, tell folks about your show, where they can find it.
Yeah, so we do a live streaming show every day from 10 to 12. It's like a 2-hour sports talk show you'd hear on the radio, just a lot less commercials. And we're hyper Tampa Bay. So if you love Tampa Bay sports, this is the only 2-hour live stream sportscast in the marketplace. So check it out. I've been doing sports here locally for almost 30 years. We bring on the best guests. Today we had Rob Higgins, the new CEO of athletics at USF, Ken Hagan, the Hillsborough County Commissioner that's putting the whole Rays deal together, and Eric Erlinson, who's been covering the Lightning for 30 years. So we do it every day, 10 to 12. You can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, on X. Just Google the JP Peterson Show. FanStream Sports Tampa Bay is the name of our company. And just like you guys do a great job in podcasting, that's where everything's going, right?
Yeah.
On-demand stuff. So you can catch us live, or you can catch us on the podcast on Apple and Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Fantastic. Well, JP, certainly appreciate you joining us. We love having first-time guests, especially somebody right in my neighborhood. I told you,
Yeah,
I'm a huge Baker Mayfield fan.
Sorry, guys. I had to switch some things around, but a lot of big stuff come up today. A lot of stuff going on here locally, so I apologize. Anytime you need me, I'll come back. If the Bucs win, I'll come back on next week.
and bring Todd Bowles, right?
Exactly. Yes.
There you go. Thanks, JP.
JP, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Guys, it was awesome. Anytime.